when the organizers asked me, they said, oh, do you want to do a second class? Do you want to do a movement-based class, or do you want to do something else? I said, oh, can I do a talk? And they're like, yeah, what do you want to call it? I said, well, I don't know. Let's call it Thrive in the New Normal. Do you guys know that's what it's called? How many of you knew that was what I called it? Anyone? Some of you just came here to have food. You did? Oh, that's okay, that's okay. You can have your... You brought a notepad? Okay, I hope I have something to tell you that you can write down that's going to be useful. That's a really cool notepad. So let me ask you this question, because I like to actually be very interactive in you know, when anything I'm teaching. I don't even consider this teaching. I just like, we're just having a chat. Is that okay? Can we just make it like a bit more of a chat and just kind of connect? And if there's something useful that I can share with you, hopefully there is, then, you know, feel free to use it, and hopefully it can have some kind of an impact in your life, even if it's just in this 1 hour. So let me ask you first, before I share a bit more about either my journey, but just some of the tools that I thought I'd want to share with you guys today. But rather than me just assume things and just throw some stuff at you guys, I want to make sure I can customize it for you and that it can be useful to you wherever you are right now. So what do you think you were coming to hear? Or let me ask you this question, like, why did you come here? Were you just running away from the other classes, or?
The title appealed to me.
What about the title appealed to you? Thrive?
The new normal.
The new normal. To this talk. Why do you take 1 hour of your time? Time is something that you don't get back. Do you know that? It's our most precious commodity, more than money. Even money you can earn back, but time you can't. So why do you choose to come and spend your most precious commodity? By the way, I'm honored. Thank you. Hopefully so far you're thinking, maybe this guy's got something useful to say. Why? What were you hoping to get from this?
Sounds positive.
Sound positive?
Positive, and everything else is so negative. So I thought, okay, sounds positive. I'm going to go here and raise the study.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. It's beautiful.
I really enjoyed your class this morning, so...
Thank God for that. Not everyone did. I could see some faces. They were like, okay. So from the class, and what about the class for you said, okay, maybe I'll come to this thing?
Just wanted to hear what else you
Okay. Hopefully I have some useful things. Anyone else? You look like you're going to say something. Yeah?
I've done one of your online courses and I really like some of the things you've got to say. I think they're really insightful.
Thank you. Which one did you do?
To be honest, I can't remember what it's called. It was like during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I'm putting out.
I think it was for yoga teachers actually.
Yeah.
The yoga teachers one.
So I did one, I think probably the Yoga Teacher Summit.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Had different teachers, and we were talking about just what's going on right now and how to deal with, you know, some of the stuff back then at that point. And again, similar kind of topic now, right? So you look like you're going to say something, were you? I'm just putting you on the spot, basically.
Just like, because it was called Thrive, just wanted to hear what you said.
Yeah, okay. How about you guys over there far away?
I like to mix it all up. So to me, yoga is the whole.
Yes.
So it's not just the asanas practice. It's all about the breath, it's meditation, mindfulness, but also philosophy. Any words of wisdom you can pick up along the way.
Yeah.
Help us out. So we need to listen and learn.
Amazing. Thank you. Anyone else? Why?
I enjoyed thriving, so I came to thrive a bit more.
Came to thrive a bit more. Okay, cool. And what does it mean to thrive?
Being like the best version that you can be.
Okay. Being the best version you can be. In a year which possibly was one of the hardest in our history. I don't know, at least the history that we've been alive in. I'm sure there's been harder times, I don't know, before us. Maybe, right? I mean, we got it pretty good generally. We've got technology, we've got a lot of comforts. Can't imagine a time when they didn't have heating. I hate the cold, funny enough. I mean, I'm the UK, but I don't know. I can't imagine with without some of the comforts. So I think we have it pretty good generally, but it's been a tough, right? A really tough year, and trying to make sense. And as you were saying, you know, there's a lot of like negativity, right? And any kind of positivity, hopefully is useful. And I like positivity, but frankly, I don't care about positivity if it's just about positivity. I want to know what's real and what's the truth. Because so far, as much as I've tested this, very wise quote from a book, which you might know about, and by the way, I'm not religious, which says, the truth will set you free, right? And so far, every time I've tested that, it's absolutely delivered. So part of the work, my journey has been as I've gone through and done my work, and it's the stuff that I share, because frankly, if I haven't had any experience with it, or if I haven't done that work, then I just wouldn't share that, because I'm just making it up then. It's just kind of book knowledge, or I'm just talking pretty words maybe, but it doesn't have any substance or depth to it. It doesn't have any grounding to it. So this topic of like going into the truth of the moment and looking into the truth of what it is. And I tend not to talk about and address or want to look at more on the superficial levels. Like, I'm not really interested in talking about politics. I'm not interested really in talking about or this world affair or that, or this opinion or that opinion, or having a debate about that. I'm more interested in going deeper than that and actually talking at the level of the mind and the body and the breath, and something that on the level where we can do something about it. So in a year, what has it been like in this, I don't know, maybe I'm opening up a can of worms here, but you know what, it doesn't matter. By the way, I swear as well, I hope it doesn't offend you. If it does, then I'm not sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. It's just, it comes out. And I don't mean to be offensive. It's just like, sometimes it's like a punctuation, it just comes out. So, right? Yeah. Just some people get shocked. Oh my God, he said fuck. I'm like, yeah, I do. He said the word. He's supposed to be yogi. I'm like, I don't know what yogi means, but if it's that, then I don't fucking care. I'll just be real and just be honest about things. So, okay, what has it been like? Because we talk about the new normal, and I said, okay, thriving in the new normal. And I'll talk about that. I'll come back to that, in at least my opinion, and I want to hear yours as well. What has it been like? What's been the culmination of it? And here you are now, this weekend. I'm sure you've been through some kind of a journey that's brought you here. What's it been like?
It's like waiting for something to happen for me.
Pardon?
It's like waiting for something to happen.
Waiting for something to happen?
Maybe truth or something.
Waiting for something to happen.
I don't know what's going to
Don't know what's going to happen. I'm just repeating it a bit louder in case you guys can't hear, because there's volume from there. Waiting for something to happen is, she said, what's your name?
Norma.
Norma said, right? Waiting for something to happen. You look like you're going to say something.
So being able to stop and be in the house for such a long time, I actually feel like I am thriving.
Yeah.
I get that all the stuff what's going on outside is like literally lock the windows, shut the door, or just stay inside.
Yeah.
And I'll go back out when it's all done. But actually inside, in the house, in myself, I feel like I am thriving. I think
Yeah.
because everything has stopped. So that's part of why I came here, to see how I can explain that to people without sounding like some kind of nutter.
Yeah.
So,
Did you guys hear that? How many of you could hear that? You could hear it? That's why I said come closer, by the way. Come on in. Yeah, come in. So she said something around, being at home, and she feels like she was thriving. What was her name again? Georgina was saying, she's at home and she feels like she's thriving, even though, she had to be isolated and there was all this stuff going on outside, and not feeling like a nutter that she's thriving despite whatever craziness that's been going on around. How many of you relate to that? You're like, I don't want to be the nutter, the only one that is okay, right? I feel good. And there's many different ways on how we could have processed this last year. And one is to start looking outside ourselves for answers. And we normally do what we know, right? We go to what is known to ourselves because it's familiar. And in the familiar, we have a sense that we can predict. And if we can predict it, then we have some sense of control. And if we have a sense of control, then we feel like maybe there's some safety in knowing that I kind of at least can control it, even though I know I can't control the whole thing. How many of you relate to what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about, at least on some level, right? So the reason we have that is because, come a little closer. The reason we have that is because there's a part of us that is inbuilt to protect ourselves, right? There's a protection mechanism within ourselves. How many of you know about the fight and flight mechanism within us, right? We probably all know about that. You don't know? Could you come closer, right? Can you hear me, by the way? See? That's what I mean. I know. Come closer. Put your mats in the middle here. If I jump, she will save you. Yeah, come close. Just sitting and talking. Yeah, it's okay. Okay, it's too scary. I've really worked on not being too scary. Pardon? I sometimes bite, but if you're here, I won't bite you, I promise you. What was I saying? So there's a part of us in our nervous system, our body, brain, our nervous system that is inbuilt to protect us, right? And that's good, because if that wasn't there, if it still isn't here, then we probably wouldn't have survived as a species, and evolution wouldn't have happened, even though that's questionable, right? If you look at the world today and what we've done to it, we wouldn't be here, right? And if you think about it, we're here because the previous generations had also this mechanism built into them, and going all the way back, if it is in fact the truth, all the way back to like cave days when there was a threat, right? So I don't know, I like to think of things in pictures, and I don't know, it always comes up like a little bit of a comic in my mind. So there is like cave person, chilling out, making their dinner at the fire, and then suddenly there's a freaking saber-toothed tiger. I mean, that is not a time to sit there and digest, rest and digest. That's not a time to get all expansive and creative. That's the time to fight or fucking run. Quite honestly, wouldn't you say? Because if you don't, you and the next generations that are coming that you haven't met yet won't exist. It's just inbuilt. We don't even need to think about it, right? We don't go, hang on a second. There is this thing with big teeth. What should I do? No, we just go, fuck, and we just get out of there, or we fight the thing. Quite literally, we don't think about it. And that part of us is still there, still here within us. So you see that all through the day on the yoga mat, right? I say pigeon, and then some people go into pigeon and they're like, they're in like fight, on a flight, right? They've done like a minute and they just want to get out. It happens on the yoga mat. It happens in any moment in our day where that part of us, its priority, right, its number one priority is survival. Now, it was okay in the cave days because our ancestors probably had a spike, a moment when that happened, and then adrenaline would kick in, and either they fight or flight, and then other times they go back to rest and digest. And the body, if you know it, in the nervous system, the body, our digestive system, if you don't go to rest and digest, well, you're not going to digest. Thus, hint, hint, digestive problems. Anyone relate to that? Digestive problems, right? And not in that rest and digest, meaning stress, right? Because if you're in fight and flight, you're not relaxed. We're not relaxed. Does that make sense? Think about it. Our diseases, the root of our diseases, if it's true, put your hand up for this. How many of you know that the root of our diseases come from stress? Anywhere in the world, I ask this question Pretty much everyone knows this answer. Yet, what do we do about it? We live more in stress today as a modern human being than previous generations. We've got more stimulation now than ever, right? And we've got more information coming at us, more things wanting our attention now through the day than ever. And we're constantly in this fight or flight. I mean, I'll throw you a word. Work. How many of you feel stressed just by that word? Or it reminds you of stress. You're like, ugh, Monday. You know, or I got some work this evening. Just one word. Right? Even that give you, no, that's good. That's good to hear. Right? And by the way, how many of you love your job or what you do? Awesome. Amazing. Amazing. I wish more hands would go up and like more of us, working on that. So that's just one area. Maybe the other person is not here. Maybe this stresses you out, relationship. Okay, it's all right. Don't put your hand up. Money. Okay, health. Time. How much time you have. And that's just a few things. Right? And I'm just throwing out some words, which then connect you back to your day. And how much we live in stress, which then causes an unease, which then perpetuates into a dis-ease, which then we give a label to, which then we don't want to feel, so we numb it out, hoping it would go away, and then what happens? Generally, it perpetuates even more. By the way, any doctors or any medical people here? Cool, you can tell me if I'm talking shit, right? We've got a medical person here as well. Fine, it's good. I'm not a scientist or a medical professional, so what I'm talking about is just from the little bit of knowledge that I have across all of these things. But probably none of the stuff I'm talking about is new to you, right? Maybe I'm just represencing it. So there's a part of us, it's a long way of saying, there's a part of us that wants to predict, wants to know, wants to be in control. Makes sense, right? Because it needs to be in control, it needs to predict, because it needs to know where is the danger in this moment. If there is danger here, do I fight or flight? What do I do? See, but what we don't know or we're not aware of is that most of us are pretty much through our day, most of our day, every day, even on the weekends, we're living in this high stress, high adrenaline, which then translates to cortisol, which then doesn't go away very easily, right? So then our body has to deal with it on some level. So then if you don't deal with it, then it becomes a dis-ease. And that's just on the level of the body. Now the body and the mind are intrinsically linked, right? So where does stress come from? Mind? Tell me more.
Receptors.
Pardon?
Receptors in your body.
Say again?
Receptors in your body.
Receptors in your body. Yeah.
Which actually come into our body through neurotransmitters everywhere, right? And so if we're experiencing stress as a thought, we experience it all over our body as these chemicals of stress.
Yeah. So thoughts. And then she talked about neurotransmitters and how it relates to the body. So thoughts. Are they specific thoughts?
Anxious thoughts?
Just thoughts? Just any thoughts? All thoughts? Pardon? Depends. On what? On the thoughts itself? How was lunch? Pardon? Negative. Negative thoughts. And what are negative? What makes it negative and what makes thoughts positive?
How you perceive it.
How you perceive it? The belief around the thoughts. How you choose to react to it. Conditioning. And what is conditioning? Yeah. Belief systems. Pardon? Oh, I thought you said online stats. Mindsets. mindset. I was like, online stats? Okay. Let me finish that loop. So I'll come back to the thoughts and the stress in a minute. There's a couple of open loops. It just does my head in if I don't close the loops. So there's this part of us that wants predictability. It wants a sense of the known. It wants control because of survival. And that's good. It's not a bad thing. But life's magic and growth and expansion is not in the predictable, is not in the known. Are you with me so far? Can we go deeper? Is that okay? Can we go deeper with the conversation? Are you guys cool with that? I hope you enjoyed that. Remember to leave me a comment below or any questions you may have about the topic covered. And if you haven't done so yet, hit subscribe and the bell icon so you'll be the first to know when I upload my next video. Also, if you know someone who may benefit from this video, please hit share and share it with them. Lastly, I commend you for your commitment to growth and personal transformation. Here's to your epic awakened life. See you in my next video.